Hey everybody, welcome to Everything Accounting. I'm Alfred Zaglul, your friendly neighborhood accountant. And today we're going to talk about setting up a business and kind of what you need to focus on, all that stuff. But before we get into it, I need to make some coffee. So let's get started on making some coffee first, and then we'll talk about creating a business. So the first thing that you want to figure out when you're creating a business is essentially what you're going to offer. What services are you going to provide? It's really important to understand your services and understanding how much you're going to value those services or how much those services are worth to a customer base. So it's fine to be like, hey, I'm going to provide a cup of coffee, but I'm going to sell it at $100 per cup. But are people really going to buy that $100 a cup? Even if you price it at that? Probably not. So it's really important to understand what you're providing, what it's worth to the general consumer or your target customer, and price it accordingly. Then on the other side is obviously figuring out the cost to make sure that you can do that, right? Otherwise, what's the point? Next, obviously, is figuring out not just your product and what you're gonna provide, what you're gonna sell, but understanding your customer, right? So understanding your customer is probably more important than understanding your product, because you'll find there's great examples of this, is that you'll see in the tech world, as an example, there are thousands of different businesses that are creating, let's say, laptops. You're in the market for a laptop, you wanna go, as a customer, you wanna go buy a laptop. What kind of customer are you? Are you one that wants like the cheapest price? Are you one that wants to get something that's really high end, that's going to deliver like speeds that you essentially need at that point? Is it more of a creative item that you want to get? Are you going to be doing video editing? Are you going to be working on Excel? Are you going to be There's so many parameters, so many thoughts that come into buying a product, right? Even if we come down to like buying coffee. Are you trying to buy an everyday coffee, something super cheap? Are you trying to buy something that tastes really good? Are you trying to find something in between? Are you trying to find an everyday coffee? Are you trying to find an espresso? Are you trying to find a single origin? Are you trying to find a blend? Are you looking for dark roast, light roast, medium roast? All these things come into play when you're evaluating as a customer. So you as a business owner need to understand that that's the thought process of your customer. You have to always accept and always understand that your customers are dynamic. Not every person is going to be the same. They fall under certain categories for sure, but there's gradients here and there. So understanding your customer and understanding your customer base for the product that you're trying to sell will 100% allow you to succeed in selling your product. So once you've figured that out, these are the basics, right? So you figured out what you're trying to sell, whether it's a service, whether it's a product. You're literally trying to figure out the sales of the product, and then you figured out the customer base of your product, who you're selling to. The next is, how do you bring your product or your service to the customer? Now, if you're dealing in, like, I'll use myself as an example. I'm an accountant. I have to reach out to people that need accounting services. What's the best way to do that? Is basically online, that there's businesses around me that may need an accountant. Looking at different Facebook groups or different groups online that you'll find on Reddit or what have you, where people are looking for the service that you're providing. So you reach out and be like, hey, I'm an accountant. I provide these kind of services. Even you as the viewers at home, you're coming here because you want to understand your accounting. I'm putting these videos out because, hey, if you need an accountant, I'm here to help you. So there's so many avenues, there's so many ways for you to basically portray and say, hey, I'm here, this is what I provide, can I help you, right? And then you have to tailor it to the customer base. So there's gonna be some clients and some customers that it's not just accounting that they're looking for. So even under accounting for me, there's tax, there's bookkeeping, there's strategic planning, there's valuations, there's analysis, there's efficiency analysis, there is financial advice. There's so many aspects to what I provide in the realm of accounting. And the reason that I provide all these things, and the reason that all accountants provide these things, is because not every client is looking for a bookkeeper. Not every client is looking for tax services. Not every client is looking for help with their books, right? They just want advice. So it really just depends on what they're looking for and depends on what you're trying to provide to these clients. And then each service is obviously built differently. Each service is provided at a different rate, right? Because there might be a premium for some of these things. Bookkeeping is something very general. For me, as an example, bookkeeping is very general, and there's a lot of bookkeepers out there. So the rate that I'm charging someone can't be $1,000 an hour for bookkeeping. Who's gonna buy that? I wouldn't buy that, right? So there's that side of it. Then there's the financial analysis or the valuation side. Say you want to sell your business, you're trying to get acquired or what have you, so you need a valuation done. The people that are looking for a valuation, there's value to getting the valuation done, and that's getting a solid return on your investment originally. So that in and of itself has an additional cost. So it's really an understanding, what are you providing? What is the value that you're providing? How do you price it? Who's gonna buy it? And then that allows for the integration of like full success of your business. Also, coffee is life, so that's, this is gonna be great. So there's that side of it, right? The next is scaling your business. So it's great when you first start off, and even for me, when I first started, I was providing all these services. I was providing accounting services, bookkeeping services, tax services, all that. Eventually, I got to a point where I was so busy that I just couldn't provide all of that to all the clients that were coming in, everyone that was trying to like reach out to me. And it put me in a position where I'm like, I either hire someone now because I'm at capacity, or I turn down clients. And I didn't really want to turn down clients. So that was a point for me where I evaluated, I'm like, this is when I need to make a hire. Now, the big thing here is before you hire someone, you need to know what they're gonna do. What are they taking off your plate? So when you're hiring, I always like to tell clients when they're looking into growth and they're looking into scaling their business, I'm like, it's great that you want to hire, but what is this person's role gonna be? What are they adding to the company or reducing off your plate? So if I'm doing, say, tons of bookkeeping, right? And then also wanting to do tax work and also trying to do meetings with clients and talking about their financials and giving them analysis and all that. What is the most value for me and what is the most valuable for me to do as the business owner? And what is the most value for me to pass off to someone else? So the first thing that I did was bookkeeping, because it's not valuable for me to do it at the rates that I'm charging if I'm doing it, right? Because again, it's an understanding that my time has value. So once I figured that out, I hired for the next role. In terms of hiring or scaling or anything of that nature, you want to break down the value add that they're going to bring, how efficiently they're going to come into play, and when you want to make that hire happen. Because you don't want to do it at an integral time of your business where you can't afford to hire or train or take time out of your day to do that. So the other side of that is planning ahead. Planning ahead is so vital in terms of hiring. And I've seen this cripple businesses before. They've always been like, hey, we're growing and we're probably gonna need this person in the next 5 years. Let's hire them now, just so we have it prepped. Or they're like, they have zero plan in terms of when they wanna hire, why they wanna hire, all that. And they just hire someone because they heard, oh, they should be hiring this person, right? But you grow too fast and then you crumble. How many businesses have you heard of that do that? It happens all the time. So hiring at the right time, hiring at the right price point, and hiring for a value add you need right now is key. If you can afford to do that and hire for value add in the next 5 years, great. But most companies can't. And I know everyone's like, why won't you want to be at 100% capacity? Understanding your capacity and then being at 100% consistently, possibility when you're hiring, is it going to increase sales or reduce your costs?